Hey guys, Patrick here with Vision for Africa 2020-2030. Thanks for being with me. In this segment, I'm going to share with you 10 most lucrative businesses opportunities you can start investing in Africa starting right now, 2020. My name is Patrick, an origin of the Democratic Republic of Congo, RDC Lokwa Makasi, very proud to be. I live in the United States of America, in Boston, Massachusetts, to be precise, USA. I've been in this country for about 13 years. I left Congo in 2004 and moved to Angola before I joined the United States of America. During my time, it has been quite interesting journey. Everything from what I thought when I was back home to where I am right now has been quite a learning journey and also experience. So I realized it would only make sense for me if I can use my own experience based on what I've lived as an immigrant, as a son of Africa living into the diaspora in the United States of America. You know, we all have something of plus that we can contribute to our community, to our countries and our continent. But if we don't go forward and let it go, let it loose and share that information, how worth is it to the rest of our people, our families? Therefore, I decided to create this movement, Vision for Africa 2020-2030. Let's challenge ourselves. Every descendant of African origins living in the diaspora, whether you're in America or you're in Europe, we have all been experiencing almost similar situations. We come from home, we get to these developed countries. Yes, I call it develop. Let's keep it like that. Yes, they have some stuff we do not have back home. And I believe it's our duty as citizens, as Africans, to come to these countries and not only learn and go to school and work, but also try our best to transfer the technology that we are learning that at our disposal. Everywhere we go, we see great things happening, and we wish it could happen in Africa. Unfortunately, the life of wishing does not take us anywhere. And when you wish, you will only keep wishing while others are doing. So, a thought came to mind, and I said, what about I start this video channel where I can come in once a week and share the most available information I can have at the time. Starting today, March 16th, 2020, I am taking this responsibility to open up and share the experience of the African man living in the diaspora. And also, I'm going to share with you at least 10 business opportunities idea that exists or that we can create to make a difference in Africa, to invest and change the Africa that we know. We can always want and hope for the Western countries to come and save us, but in reality, they are only looking for their own interests. America and France and all these other countries will never look for the interest of a son of Africa. They will not look for the interest of you and your family and those who you care for. Yes, they come. We have all the NGOs, all the missionaries, all these churches left and right. All these a bunch of lefty and right movements being sent there to distract us from the real deal. And the real deal is we Africans have seemed to forget where we came from and who we really are. Let me remind you, we are kings. Yes, I say it. We are kings and queens. Our ancestors were kings and queens. And we must keep the spirit. A queen and a king do not depend. We are leaders. A group of leaders that are going to change the future of Africa, and our actions will decide the future of our kids. Let's not make the same mistakes our ancestors, our grandfathers, and our fathers did, because we are still living those mistakes. In my country, there's the saying that say in Lingala, this is from Congo, it says, Kozanga koyeba izaliwa yandambu. What I'm saying is, yes, nobody knows everything, but it's our moral obligations as the African people to find the truth and to really find out what's going on in this world and how we also can take advantage of this beautiful world. Last time I flew to Africa about 3 months ago, it's amazing that when you fly to Africa, you see all these planes are filled with white people. It's all white people. Majority, I would say. In my flight, it was about 20 black people over hundreds of whites. And I couldn't stop asking myself, where are all these people going? Because this country is claimed to be a war-torn country, and there's all these type of problems going on, where we are being drained out of our country to become refugees in a bunch of refugee camps all across Africa, just to make it to America and get sometime minimized and disrespected and mistreated. It is a reality we're gonna talk about for the next video. But today, what interests me the most is starting this conversation, and the conversation is all about what can we do as African to improve our life in America or in Europe, and also to change lives abroad back home, to help where we came from. Don't forget, if we don't do it, nobody will do it for us. So we have that obligation to start going back and invest in Africa. Africa is projected to be the new China of the world. In the next 10 to 20 years, it's amazing how much Africa is going to change and it's going to take a lead as part of the leader of this great world. And this will only be as effective if me and you are part of the movement. We will not let Europeans and Americans and Chinese and Australians come to Africa, Indians, and invest in all the sectors. We must take the lead, and we're going to do it now. This is how we do it. In this segment, I'm going to share with you at least 10 most lucrative business ideas and opportunities that we can invest on in Africa as a diaspora, and also members of African community living in Africa can be part of this movement. It's not a joke. We're going to take this to the next level, and we're going to create a new generation of African millionaires. Not to take too long, I'm going to start with number one business idea for Africa: transportation. Please, I cannot stress much talking about this. Transportation is such a great business in 2020 to be involved in. But when you get into transportation, you need to know what the benefit, the ups and downs of that business, and which area of transportation is being more lucrative. That is your responsibility to find that out. There are different types of transportation in Africa. There are private transportation that transport people from point B to point A to point C, from the market to the city, and so from the village, and so on and on. There's also, this is public transportation, because since we don't have public transportation provided by the government, I'm speaking of Congo, for example, and where I come from, specifically in Bukavu, east of Congo, South Kivu. We do not have the government provided transportation, so people on buses and trucks that transport people. Besides this sector of transportation, we also have a lot of companies that's coming in from, whether it's from China, from America, from Canada, Australia, France, Belgium, and all these NGOs. All these organizations do not own cars. And what happened is, most of the time they will rent cars from the local communities. Since you know these companies are there and they are frequently renting cars, you can start your own transportation business. And this is how you're going to do it. You can start without or with your own vehicles. Number one, I'm going to talk about how you do it without your own vehicle. You market your business to the local communities. You ask each and everyone who owns a car that fits a specific demand based on your demand and your clients. You find out the needs of your clients, you build a portfolio, then you you market to the community. It's easy to do it in Africa. And within a month, you will be shocked you have up to 100 people who are willing to give their cars to your agency or again transportation organization, so you can rent this vehicle to these companies on their behalf. As a result, you discuss the price with the companies and you have a different price with the vehicle owner. Maybe 50-50, maybe 60-40. It depends on how you do your deals. And you will make a lot of money, and the vehicle owner will make a lot of money without having to worry about fixing the vehicle, because it will be all under the companies that's renting its responsibility to fix the vehicle, and everybody will be happy. Another type of transportation is good delivery. Today, you can start an online delivery business for good, for companies in your local community, in your local area, in your country of origin. And these are businesses that's growing in daily basis. That's why I call this show a Vision for Africa 2020-2030, because I know there are a lot of millions of African and non-African who are going to watch this video, and they're going to take action, because that's what we want. We want to take action. And all these people that's taking action, make sure you get back to me and give me your thoughts so we can all talk and continue this conversation. Number two, we're going to talk about technology transfer and computer services. When I say technology transfer, okay, forget about that version. Number two, we're going to talk about technology transfer and computer services. Guys, we live in these countries. God had given us the opportunity to see other things that our brothers who are back home and able to see and to explore and to experience. Since we're here, why don't we adopt the Chinese mind? You see, Chinese people are very, very sneaky. They very, very disciplined, and they know what they want. When they come to this country, in my opinion, I feel like every Chinese person, before they go back to their country, they have to bring some type of technology transfer that they learn. Otherwise, they will not allow you to get in China if you went to school in America. That is just a saying I'm saying. But what we need to do is our students, when we're sending our students to America, we need to make sure we're sending these kids to learn trades that will help us to enhance our economy, to push our economy to grow our countries in Africa. We're not going to send our kids here to come and study some psychology and you pay thousands and thousands of dollars for that as an international student. No, let's learn some technology. Let's transfer technology. Today, we have kids going in school in Congo, for example, and how many schools have computers? I'll tell you, even maybe from where I'm from, I'll probably say now we start having computers, and in the last 5 years or so, but it's not where we want to be. I don't want to give the number, but it's not the number you would love to hear. I'll just say it's not where we want to be. So we can improve that sector of technology, and it starts with bringing copy. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. All we need is copy what has been done here to the best of our ability and go bring it back home. Open some small computer center from the cities and the villages where you come from. Sometimes it's not the white man that's going to go make that change for us. We have to take that initiative, and if we don't do that, white man is not going to come to save us. We start that business in 2020, and by 2030, we're going to see how many kids are able to learn and use computer in the village. Tip number 3, we're going to talk about tourism and hospitality. My friend, tourism is real. In 2019, I was in Puerto Rico, and I was looking at the revenue of tourism of Puerto Rico is off the charts. As an African who have had an opportunity to travel across Africa and see the beauty, the mother nature that Africa has to offer, I take it as an offense. It's an offense, to be honest, that we go and spend so much money all across the globe, around the world, visiting museums and all other touristic sites. But as an African, as a Congolese, it hurts that where I come from, I'm not trying to minimize what I've seen in France or here in America or in these in Puerto Rico or any other Latin countries. I'm not saying they shouldn't do what they're doing or their tourism is not beautiful. I'm not saying that. It is beautiful. They have beautiful sites, but I just think and believe that Africa offers better. It's just my opinion. If you look at the fly over Africa, see the beauty. You don't see that over here in America. Just see the beauty from the airplane, and yourself, you tell yourself and I'm talking about things that make sense. So let's promote the tourism in Africa. It is our responsibility. We have a lot of ways today with technology and internet to promote ourselves. What we put on internet, we need to remember it stays there. So it is our responsibility as Africans to promote the good and the positive part of Africa. When every time I go on the internet and search for something in Africa, I can't seem to find them because we are filling the social media, we're feeding the social media, the internet with false information about Africa. It's our responsibility to start writing about Africa. The writers, it's your responsibility. We have everything written about Africa from the missionaries, from the NGOs, from the UN, and the report these people write, who come from me and you don't know, who care nothing about us other than their interests. And these are the people who are writing the story of Africa. And this is the same story that our kids are learning, which is misconstrued. And it's our responsibility to change that so that we can create a new attractive Africa, so we can start talking positive about Africa. Yes, it's our country, it's our continent, and we need to promote it the positive way, the right way. If we don't do it, no one will do it for us. It's simple as that. You see, here in America, Chicago, in the city of the state of in the city of Chicago alone, in the state of Illinois, there's at least 300 martyrs or more every year. It's nothing to compare to what happened in Goma or in Bukavu in eastern part of Congo. But one thing that if you look about Chicago, you only see Michael Jordan, you see all these the Bulls, you see all these beautiful things that's happening and all the celebrities that come out of Chicago. But you don't see all the matters that happening in Chicago. What I'm trying to say, even same thing here in Boston where I live, we have a lot of matters, we have a lot of insecurity, we have a lot of police brutality. Police are killing us like animals, but it's not being spoken about in the media. I'm just trying to show you that as African, we can choose what we want to share with the world, just like the world choose what they want to share with us. You see, in America, one thing about them is they know how to brand. America is #1 branding country in the world. Brand and rebranding is what runs America. You can share a negative information, and in a matter of a minute in America, we will rebrand that shit up and give it twist up that information, and they make it go viral, and everybody will believe it is what it is, but it's really not what it is. Look at what we've been fed in the mainstream media. So it's not interesting. Hospitality, I'm speaking of hotels, all these tourists we're going to invite and to have back home. We also need to prepare ourselves on where are these tourists going to stay. Sometimes it doesn't have. Patrick Mayembo here from Vision for Africa. Thanks for watching Vision for Africa 2020-2030 on YouTube. And if you want to keep up with some hot topics like this, please don't forget to subscribe, or you can look on the right and there's a lot